It was a beautiful spring morning in November. I left home early, went to Constitution Station and boarded the train to Pereira Station. That delicate morning humidity and the aroma of the dense nature of the park could still be perceived. I set the bike's computer to 0 and start pedaling. Countless times I have traveled along the different paths of the park, making different combinations between the trails, with jumps, without jumps, some with more dense vegetation than others. A little more than 2 hours into pedaling, I stopped to cool off a little next to an old valve in one of the little streams hidden among the vegetation. Suddenly the natural light went out. It looks like it's getting really cloudy, I thought, but the weather forecast had said clear skies all day. Maybe they miss it more times, so I didn't give it much importance, but a few seconds later the forest became darker and darker. It must be a big storm, but a few seconds later the darkness became absolute. I couldn't see anything at all. Groping with my hands I reached the handlebars of my bike and turned on a light of the lanterns. The light gave me some peace of mind, but a feeling of apprehension invaded me. I stayed still and realized that I couldn't hear anything, not even the sound of the water that was circulating a few meters to my right. I better go back to the train station. I began to pedal, trusting my memory from so much time riding along the paths of the park. I reached the glass tree, where I had my first shock. From where I had started, I could not have reached the glass tree. I took a good breath of air to relax and I started back. I followed the usual path, to the left at the entrance to the police school, avoid the gate without falling into the river, and from there straight until something was not right. I panned with the flashlight to see the surroundings a little. To my horror I found myself in the quarry, but I never turned right or followed the descent. It took me a few minutes to calm down, but I managed to regain some control and decided to make my way back to the station. This time there was the slope, which I climbed almost effortlessly and found the main path. The remains of asphalt were almost comforting. I continued advancing in a straight line, without deviating. I arrived, to my relief, at the entrance gate to the park. When I crossed the side of the gate it was as if the curtain of a theater was rising. The sunlight almost blinded me, the sounds invaded my ears, but my brain took a while to process the scene. Police, firefighters, rescue teams, journalists and onlookers looked at me with amazement and perplexity on their faces. I stood still without knowing what to do. One of the police officers accompanied by a firefighter and a doctor approached me and asked me a series of questions. I don't understand, I told them. I came on the train this morning and spent a couple of hours pedaling, but it got really cloudy and I got a little lost, but I was able to get back. Looking at the magnitude of the operation, I asked what is happening? The firefighter told me in a calm tone. There were reports of multiple disappearances. We've been combing the park for 3 days, but you're the first one to appear out of nowhere. 3 days? I asked, surprised. It can't be. I've been pedaling for 3 hours at most. My legs aren't even tired. Can you tell us what happened to you? The firefighter asked me. I stopped to rest next to one of the valves of the stream and suddenly everything became cloudy. You could barely see anything. I used the lights on my bike to get back, but 3 days? Impossible. Look at the bike computer. I reset it before leaving. I grabbed the handlebars and an incredible panic invaded my body. The clock showed 74 hours and 27 minutes of travel.